Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you are watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're going to be looking at the top 10 most popular poisons. It used to be that poisoning was the murder method of choice for those cunning villains that wanted to get away with it. However, following advances in forensic science, poisoning no longer allows murderers any anonymity. Nowadays, the use of poison is so easily detectable it is comparable to the murderer writing a confession. Let's get on with today's video.
10 popular poisons. Number 10. Castor Bean. When you consider that castor oil is used as a food additive in candy and chocolate, it's disconcerting to discover that the fruit of that plant, the castor bean, contains a supertoxic level of the poison ricin. As little as one bean, well chewed, could prove fatal. However, according to figures from the American Association of Poison Control Centers, AAPC, only 2 castor bean fatalities were recorded in the period from 1999 to 2004. And the verdict? Flava beans or castor beans? Perhaps it would be best just to go for a meal with Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Number 9. Belladonna or deadly nightshade. With a name that means beautiful women, an extract from the Belladonna plant was used in Renaissance times as a beauty product. Applied to the eyes, it dilates the pupils and gives women a wide-eyed appearance. This senseless and dangerous application of the poison often makes contemporary thinkers marvel at the stupidity of our ancestors. Contemporary poisoning from belladonna usually occurs because some dimwit has discovered that the leaves purportedly have hallucinogenic qualities. This almost makes the use of belladonna for pupil dilation seem sensible. And the verdict? The clue is in the name, deadly nightshade, people. What part of deadly don't you understand? Number 8. Fiddleback spider venom. At less than half an inch in length, the fiddleback or brown recluse is one of the most venomous spiders in the world. Native to 25 states, primarily southern and midwestern, the bite of the fiddleback spider is usually painless, but after 8 hours, the victim will be in agony. Fatalities are now rare thanks to advances in medical treatments. However, with a bite that induces symptoms of vomiting, blisters, delirium, and necrosis, this spider is best avoided. And the verdict? Does anyone want to buy my collection of Spider-Man DVDs? I probably won't be watching them again. Number 7. Pufferfish Venom. The poisonous part of the pufferfish is the tetrodotoxin found in its ovaries. This poison is not destroyed by cooking, although experts say if the entrails are removed before cooking, the fish is usually harmless. Used in the Japanese delicacy fugu, pufferfish can only be cooked and prepared by specially trained and licensed chefs. Even so, from 1955 through 1975, there were more than 1,500 fatalities caused by eating improperly prepared fugu. And the verdict? You want fries with that? Number 6. Heroin. A poison that works on the respiratory system, heroin depresses the central nervous system, creating a feeling of euphoria. Even if you don't factor in the risk of HIV from shared needles or the danger of contaminants being included in unregulated substances, the excess mortality rate among heroin users, up to 20% higher than in comparable groups of non-users, makes the appeal of this drug hard to understand. Symptoms include cramps, disturbed vision, low blood pressure, coma, and death from respiratory failure. And the verdict? Just say no. Number 5. Hemlock. Hemlock was supposedly the poison that was used to dispatch Socrates. Whilst Descartes may have said, "I think, therefore I am," Socrates is meant to have lifted his mug of hemlock and said, "I drink, therefore I'm not." In water hemlock, the highest concentrations of the poison cicutoxin can be found in the root, and one bite of this can cause death in adults. Water hemlock causes convulsions followed by death, and poison hemlock causes muscle failure and death. And the verdict? This is only really acceptable as a beverage when it's served alongside with some fugu and some castor beans. Number 4. Snake venom. The toxicity of snake bites is dependent on a lot of factors, varying from the length of time elapsed since the snake last bit, through to the level of danger the snake perceives in its victim. The most poisonous snakes are the vipers, cobras, and adders. Symptoms of snakebite poisoning include swelling, organ failure, vomiting, bleeding from the eyes and nose and gums, as well as obvious pain at the site of the snakebite. Interestingly, white males account for more than 3/4 of snakebite victims. And the verdict?
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
Number 3. Arsenic. Historically, arsenic was the murderer's favourite choice, and it has always been one of the favourite devices used in any murder mystery stories. In the UK, it was available as a poison that could be freely bought in chemists to help with rat infestations. Traces of arsenic are present in all human tissue, and it is the 20th most commonly encountered element. When used as a poison, symptoms include gastric discomfort, vomiting, and diarrhea with blood. And the verdict? Yeah, it's a horrible poison, but it does have the fun factor of having the word arse at the forefront of its name. Number 2. Strychnine. One of the more popular forms of poisoning at the start of the 20th century, strychnine attacks the central nervous system and causes exaggerated reflex reactions. With the correct dose, a victim could be dead within 10 to 20 minutes, having suffered the agony of contortions and death throes. Strychnine was the murder weapon in Agatha Christie's first murder mystery, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. Whilst this is a fast-acting poison, effective treatments are now possible, and it can only be seen as an effective murder weapon in fiction and on very old-fashioned murder mystery shows. And the verdict? Cruel and inelegant, this almost makes the Fiddleback spider look appealing. Number 1. Cyanide. Cyanide kills by preventing red blood cells from absorbing oxygen. This results in a process known as internal asphyxia. Cyanide capsules were supposedly used by World War II spies as an easy escape option to avoid the painful part of a torture and death threat. Lizzie Borden, although more famous for axe crimes, was found to have traces of cyanide in the sugar bowl at her family home, suggesting she had a backup plan in case the 40 whacks failed. Rasputin consumed a dose of cyanide that should have been lethal. When it produced no adverse effects, his enemies decided it was time to shoot and drown him. And the verdict? CSI teams can spot cyanide poisoning without leaving the office or seeing the victim. However, for a fictional form of poisoning and for its universal notoriety, cyanide deserves the number 1 spot on this list.
So I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, do be sure to subscribe to our channel. There's a link below. Also on the left, I'm going to link over to a couple of videos you'll also enjoy. One is about the top 10 times that the Butler actually did it, and the other one is about the most insane plots to kill celebrities, and some of them are truly bizarre. Also, if you did like this video, I would love it if you gave it a like. It really helps us out. So once again, thank you very much for watching.